Okay, let's get started. Matan, we always go video, and since this is your first time with us, we'll make introductions.
Okay. Thank you.
Matan, we always. Okay. Matan, can you hear me?
Yes, I do. I do. Thank you.
Okay, we do video. We're all on video since it's an online class.
Okay. Yes. All right.
And so please go on video.
Yes. Give me one quick second, please.
Sure, take your time. All right, so we'll make introductions since it's Joe, you don't have better light where you are? And Enoch, we can barely see your whole face. So if you could move your screen. Yes, that's better. Thank you. Joe, do you have better light where you are? All right, well, let's get started. Okay, so this is week 2. And today, let's see, what are we doing today? Let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay, so we started last week, introduction to medical terminology, and so we will conclude that lecture and then go on to you already did the quiz. But this will be an updated note. So I will, when the class is over, I will share this note. But let's look at some other things. Let me share my screen. Screen 2. All right. So let's make this bigger. Can you see my screen okay? Can you see my screen?
Can you make it as big as I can? Yes.
Okay. So anatomy is the study of the structure of the human body, and physiology is the study of the functioning. All right, functioning. Let's make this functioning of the human body. So there are some basic anatomical terms. For example, let me put a picture. Let me put up a picture. Let's put up a picture here. All right, let me put this picture here. Okay, so this is the so the anatomical position. When we say anatomical position, we talk about looking at a person from the front, okay? Right? That's the anatomical position. Such that this is the right, this is left. Now, this is posterior, okay, which is the back, or dorsal. This is anterior or ventral. And you can think about it: vent, ventral, dorsal. Okay? So, and then so so the limbs are called the appendages. Appendage. Okay? All right, so let me write this down here. The limbs are called the appendages. Okay? So which means, and when you talk about the appendage, and then this is the trunk. Okay? The trunk. Okay? Or the axis, or the, you know, this is the trunk, this. And then appendages, 4 appendages: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So this is the knee, and this is the ankle. Okay? So the ankle is distal to the knee, and the hip is proximal to the ankle. So the closer to the trunk you go, you say it is more proximal. So this place is proximal to this place. And the farther away from the trunk, you say it is distal. So this place is distal to this place. Okay? So proximal, distal. So so question, is the elbow proximal or distal to the wrist?
Distal.
Okay.
Distal.
You said the elbow here
is distal to the wrist.
is distal to the wrist.
Yeah.
Do you agree? So this place is distal to this place?
I think.
Sorry?
I think it's proximal.
It's proximal. Remember, the farther away you are from the trunk, you say it is distal. So the elbow is proximal to the wrist, and the wrist is distal to the elbow. Okay? Okay? Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's a good connection.
Sorry? Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yeah, the elbow is distal to the wrist. Proximal to the wrist.
So the middle, as you go toward the middle, you say it is medial. Medial. And as you go outside, towards the outside, you say it is lateral. Lateral. So this is the sternum. Okay? So the sternum is medial to the nipple. All right? But the arm is lateral to the nipple. All right? Mm-hmm. So medial, lateral. Okay? Proximal, distal. The top, something that is higher up is called superior, and something that is lower down is inferior. Okay, so the nose is superior to the mouth, and the chin is inferior to the lips. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait a second. Seconds. Well, okay, well, let's try this. Okay, so the cranial ophthalmic vocal, okay, so abdominal, tarsal, plantar, perineal. So these are all terms that we should know, okay? So this is the knee, but the back is called the popliteal. Okay? So so this is all right. So let's go back to this. So like we said, basic anatomical terms, anterior, posterior, front and back, superior and inferior, above and below, medial and lateral. Medial is toward the midline, lateral is away from the midline, proximal and distal, closer to the point of attachment or farther away from the point of attachment. Okay. Now let's look at this, what we call body planes. Uh, All right, so again, cervical is the neck. So we will need to know all of this, okay? Dorsal is the back, lumbar,
Low back.
lower back. Sacral is between the hips, okay? Lower limb, upper limb. Now, the other thing that we need to know is anatomical planes.
Some people say extremities instead of limbs.
Yes, yes. Extremities, upper extremities, lower extremities. Okay. Then okay. So you talk about anatomical planes and sections. So this is a transverse plane. So let's look at that. Let me take this. Bring it below. Need to bring this down. Okay, so body planes. Sagittal plane divides the body into right and left halves. So this is the sagittal plane. Okay, this one. All right. So this is sagittal plane, right through the middle. Sagittal plane. Okay. Transverse plane divides the body into upper and lower portions. So this is the transverse plane. All right. And then the other one is frontal plane divides the body into right and left halves. Sorry, this is a frontal plane. This is frontal plane divides the body into front and back portions. So this is frontal plane. Okay, so just imagine. Sorry guys, I'm just telling this brother that I'll call him back. All right. So anyway, I'll just leave this, and you can read up on it, because there'll be quizzes on this. If you don't understand, you you would let me know. So just read up on that, and we'll leave that like that. Why now? Okay, so this is so there will be quizzes on this, so make sure you understand all these planes, and anterior, posterior, medial, lateral, proximal, distal, and all that, superior and inferior. We already did this these quizzes, so we've done this. So that's this is some of diagnostic procedures, blood tests, imaging, endoscopy, surgical procedures and things. We've done a quiz on this. Matan, so you will have to I will send you, sorry, I haven't sent it yet. I will send you the link to join the class, the virtual class, the virtual classroom, so that you can do your assignments and things like that. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So and then this lesson was last week's. So the recording is there as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll move on. We've done with we'll move, and then actually we didn't yeah, there will be further quiz on this. So so there'll be further quiz on this. All right, so make sure there were this websites on Medline Plus and other things. Anyway, we have to move on. Let me stop for a bit and ask questions. Questions? Questions?
I'm just following right now, trying to grasp.
Okay.
No question yet.
You enough questions?
I have no question.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now we're going to look at modes or styles of interpreting. So there are, there are four styles of interpreting mostly, right? So, and the four are, so you need to know these: consecutive interpreting, right? Consecutive interpreting, simultaneous interpreting, whispered interpreting, and sight translation. Okay, so once again, let me put them here. Consecutive. Now, what do each of these mean? Sight translation. Okay, well, let's start with consecutive. So consecutive is where the interpreter listens to the speaker in one language and interprets the message into another language. Into another language after the speaker is done speaking. Okay. Let me remove this. It's a mode of interpreting where the interpreter listens to a speaker in one language, then interprets their message into another language after the speaker is done speaking. So, so if you know what I mean by that. In other words, okay, the common applications will be in medical appointments, hospital visits, doctor-patient consultations, legal proceedings, business meetings. Okay, now, simultaneous interpretation is a mode of interpreting where the speaker listens to the speaker in one language and at the same time simultaneously interprets their message into another language while the speaker is still speaking. So in consecutive, the speaker speaks and pauses and allows the interpreter to interpret. Usually, so imagine doctor, interpreter, patient. Doctor speaks and stops. Interpreter interprets in the other language to the patient and stops. Patient speaks and stops. Interpreter interprets and stops. Doctor responds and stops. Okay?
Yeah.
But in a conference, like there are some churches where you know some churches, for example,
the priest,
well, some churches, while the
pastor,
the speaker is speaking, speaking, you have so if you have in a multilingual church, say there are people in the church who speak Spanish, Portuguese, French, okay? It means that now, if you're in a church where there are people, it's just, for example, you know, if you go to a church that is one language predominantly, and they have a visiting speaker who doesn't say, for example, if you go to a church in Haiti, right? And they have a missionary who doesn't speak Haitian Creole. They're from Canada, the US, wherever. So in that case, when the preacher is preaching, they will speak and then they will stop. and then the interpreter will interpret, right? And then the speaker, then they will stop, and then the preacher would say something again. So that is consecutive. In that case, though, the congregation is not answering back, but it's still consecutive. Now, if, however, in that church there are people who speak Portuguese only, some people speak Spanish only, some people speak Haitian Creole only, some people speak French only. You can't have the speaker speak, then somebody interprets Haitian Creole, then after that Portuguese, and after that. So what you have to do in that case is that you have they use some equipment whereby there's somebody in a booth somewhere, all right, simultaneously interpreting Spanish, somebody Portuguese, somebody French, somebody. So that is simultaneous interpreting. As the speaker is speaking, they are just so that's simultaneous. Okay. So that one is large scale events like I just described, international meetings like the UN. Okay, somebody is speaking maybe in Russian, and then everybody's wearing it. Some the interpreter Chinese, interpreter Arabic, interpreter so that's simultaneous. They are speaking usually. Usually the interpreters might have a text. Usually kind of that is kind of like a prepared. They will have the text of the. So they will have studied it beforehand. You understand? So that is simultaneous. Okay. Then there's whispered interpreting. So say, for example, you are in a
summit of two head of states. The
no.
summit of two head of states.
No. Oh yes. Well. That may be. Okay, yes, that's true. Sometimes they do that. Yeah. You're correct. You're correct. Because yeah. But I was going to give on that scenario. So in inpatient psychiatric units, they do counseling, okay? Group meetings, group counseling, okay? Especially in Boston, you can go to a hospital, some patients, an inpatient unit, there are some Spanish-speaking people, there are some, Portuguese and all that, So in that case, you can't really use a video equipment. So what you do is you sit a bit behind, like the Haitian Creole speaking person, right? And you'll be whispering into their ear. Not too loud to disturb the people that don't need to hear it. Okay? So you'll be whispering, so that's whispered. So use that in small group meeting. Okay? Situation where speaking loud will be disruptive. So you sit behind them, you be in a very low voice. So that's whispered interpreting. So it's a mode of consecutive interpreting where the interpreter whispers the interpretation directly to the recipient. Okay. It's not really consecutive because you are speaking. I'm going to move this consecutive because you are speaking at the same time as the speaker. It's just that you are whispering, so you don't disrupt everyone else.
Simultaneous. This is simultaneous.
Yes. I think it's more like simultaneous. And then there's sight translation. So it's a mode of interpreting where the interpreter reads a written text in one language and then interprets into another language. Okay, we call that site translation. Okay. You know, like informed consent. You know, a lot of informed consent, even, you know, informed consent forms, right? And mostly in English. You know, they don't have a lot of them translated into Haitian Creole. You might get them in Spanish, but not very much in Haitian Creole. So as an interpreter, what you have to do is you read the text in English and then interpret it to the patient. We call that site translation. Now, notice it's called translation. It's not called interpreting. The reason why it is called translation, here's the reason why. Interpreting is rendition of an oral message. Okay? So this is not a translation class. This is an interpreting class.
Okay.
But so translation is rendition of a written message. So even though in site translation you are speaking, you are not writing, because the source of the message is written and not spoken, you call it translation.
Okay.
Okay? So you don't call it site interpretation, you call it site translation. It is translation because the source of the message is written. Okay? So even though you are interpreting, you call it translation. Okay? So the thing that determines whether it is interpretation or translation depends on whether the source of the message is verbal or written. If it's verbal, then you are interpreting. If it is written, then you are translating. Okay? So we're going to do some role play. We will let me stop that share and get some role play scripts for us to practice. Okay. So we're going to do this. All right, let me share my screen. Okay. Matan, you are the interpreter. Enoch, you are the patient. And Gio, you are the doctor. Okay. So where's Enoch? All right. So and this is consecutive interpreting. Okay. So, doctor, you can start. Doctor.
Who's the doctor?
Gio. Matan, you are the interpreter.
Okay.
Enoch is the patient. Enoch, you will sight translate the patient in Haitian Creole.
Okay.
All right, Gio, start, please.
Hold on, my phone got dropped. 1 second. So I'm playing the doctor, right?
Yes, and you're reading in English.
Can you hear me?
Yes, and Matan, you are
Can
interpreting.
you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It froze.
Oh, no, we can hear you.
It froze. Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay.
I can see the whole text.
What do you mean you can't see the whole text?
Yeah.
There is a part of the first line that is hidden to me.
You have to pinch your screen if you're on the phone.
Yeah, there's something on your end. It's not on this end. Everything is. Maybe move your screen or pinch your phone. Nathan, can you see the whole screen?
Yes, I can, because I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
All I have to do just pinch it and keep on moving.
Yeah.
So I can read through.
Okay. It's okay now.
Okay. All right. Doctor, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, Monsieur Dr. Levine.
No. You are speaking English.
Okay, hi. I'm Dr. Levine. What did you do to your hand?
Allô, moi c'est Dr. Levine. Qui ça ou fait avec? Qui ça ou fait main ou? Mais qui ça gen nan main ou?
Patient.
I was playing with Andy.
No. You speak Creole.
Ah, ok. Mwen tap jouye avec Andy, ki se zanmi l'école mwen frappe li nan bouche. Mais mwen pat fè sa exprès. Et mwen pat vraiment blessé li. Et lèv li, juste commencé à saigner en petit.
I see.
No, you don't read. So as a matter of fact, you shouldn't be looking at the screen. So interpreter, you shouldn't be looking at the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so turn the screen away so you're not seeing the screen. Or I don't know what you'll do.
That's the patient. He's the patient.
Yes, but it's already in English, so don't look at the screen.
Okay.
All right. So try not to look at the screen so that you are interpreting what you are hearing and not reading, because otherwise you just read the English and that won't be helping you.
So now, do I have to read it to him? Oh
No. So I'm saying that.
Okay.
You don't look at the screen.
No, I got it. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just listen and interpret. So I don't know, cover your screen or something. Switch to.
Close your eyes.
Okay.
And don't cheat. All right. So interpreter, patient, go again.
Mwen tap jouye avec Andy, ki se zanmi l'école mwen frappe li nan bouche. Mais mwen pat fè sa exprès. Et mpa vraiment blessé. Et lèv li, c'est juste commencé, on ti jan ap saigner.
Okay. I was playing with my friend Andy. Well, I was playing with Andy, which is a friend from school, and
Don't look. Don't look.
It's a long one. It's a long one.
It's long. Yes, okay. I was playing with Andy, which is a friend of a friend from school, and I hit him with my elbow in the mouth, in the lips. It's not really bleeding, but it's bleeding a little. It's bled a little.
Doctor.
I see. When did this happen?
Where? Qui laisse ça arriver?
In Creole, you don't really say where. You know, you have to say ah bon.
Ah bon, okay. Ah bon. Qui laisse ça arriver?
This morning at school.
Patient, you don't speak English, you speak Creole.
Matin à l'école là.
This morning at school.
Doctor.
So what happened then?
Qui ça qui t'est arrivé même?
Patient.
Bon. Bon, m'pas vraiment blessé l'empile, les ça te fait river. Mais il était commencé à enfler. Et il était commencé à faire mal de plus en plus. Kounya, moi, à peine qu'à me faire mouvement, parce que il fait mal en pile.
Moi, presque pas qu'à.
Oui, moi presque pas qu'à faire mouvement, parce qu'il fait mal en pile.
Okay. I'm lost.
OK. Li pat fait mal en pile, il te fait
Ça
au
fait river, hein,
commencement.
au
OK.
commencement.
Li pat fait mal en pile au commencement.
Oui.
Mais et après ça, il commence à enfler.
Oui.
Et puis il commence à faire mal de plus en plus. Kounya là, moi presque pas qu'à faire aucun mouvement avec parce que il tellement fait mal.
Tellement fait mal.
Okay. I didn't hurt him. I mean, I didn't hurt him a lot.
Li pat fait mal en pile au commencement.
Oh, it didn't hurt that much in the beginning. Afterwards, it started to swell up. And now it's hurting.
Et puis il commence à faire mal de plus en plus.
Oh, okay. And then it started to hurt, from time to time.
Pas de
Temps en temps.
Pas de temps en temps, non?
Oh, okay. And now it started to hurt more.
De plus en plus.
A lot more.
No, more and more. More and more. De plus en plus.
Oh, more and more. Okay. And
Kounya la, mwen preske pa ka boujel, tellement li fait mal.
oh, right now I can't even move because it's hurting so much.
Preske pa ka boujel.
Now I almost cannot move it.
Tellement li fait mal.
Because it's hurting so much.
Okay.
Do you feel any tingling in your head?
Usati. Ou senti krop nan men?
Picotement.
Oh, pikotman. Ou senti pikotman nan men?
Non, m'pas senti pikotman.
No, I do not feel, it doesn't feel tingling.
How about numbness? Is your hand numb?
It,
Non,
Non.
même pas engourdi.
Non. Il faut qu'on traduise. Oh.
Ah, ok.
okay. So senti numbness. Est-ce que senti, yeah, angoudi. So I didn't know the word, so I would
Engourdi.
angoudi. Okay. Est-ce que senti mon angoudi?
No, actually,
Engourdissement.
how about numbness? Is your hand numb?
Oh. Est-ce que men angoudi?
Et engourdissement. Est-ce que main engourdi?
Est-ce que men angoudi?
Yeah. Or you could say, est-ce que main pork?
Okay.
Est-ce que même porc? Oui, porc.
Yes, okay.
Non.
Est-ce que no?
Non.
No. No.
Can you make a fish for me? Does that hurt?
Can you repeat that again?
Can you make a fish for me? Does that hurt?
Okay. Est-ce que ou ka fè un point pour lè ou fè un point pour moi? Est-ce que ça formal?
Yeah.
Serré point à pi bon.
Oh, lè ou fè le point, ouais, c'est ça formal?
Don't look.
Okay.
Oui, li fait mal en pile.
Yes.
Oui, en pile.
Oui, en pile.
Yes, a lot.
Me senti il serré.
It's still tight.
Me senti il vraiment serré. Oui, en pile. Me senti il vraiment serré.
Yes, a lot. It's still very tight.
Okay, got a wrong one for you now. Straighten out your fingers and grasp this card between your fingers. Good. Now, can you touch your thumb?
No. So
Long.
the patient, even though it's long, but the patient actually has to do that motion. You
Okay.
understand? Yeah. So the interpreter has to. The fact
Break
of
it down,
the matter is that it can't really flow like that. The interpreter has to say it, and the patient has to make the movement, and the doctor would then say, "Good." Okay, go ahead.
Stretching out your fingers and
That's it.
Again.
stretching.
Straighten out your fingers and grasp this card between your fingers.
Longe doit tout. Longe doit yo, et puis prend 4 tap, et puis mettez li nan entre doit yo. Pour moi.
Good. Now, can you touch your thumb to your little finger and make a circle?
Kounya, est-ce que vous calongez poussou, et puis,
The little finger.
un petit doigt pétillant, et puis faire
Mhm.
Now, can you touch your thumb to your little finger and make a circle?
now can you touch your thumb with your little finger and make a circle? Oh, okay. Est-ce que vous ka toucher poussou avec petit doigt pétillant et vous faites un one?
Good. Now, Don't let me break that circle. Hold it tight, please.
Ok, très bien. Qu'on n'y a pas quitté moins, ouvrir, can be on 4.
Mm. Let me say it over. Good. Now, don't let me break that circle. Hold it tight, please.
Très bien. Good. Bien. Ou bien, très bien. Qu'on n'y a pas quitté moins ouvrir cercle, can be là bien dur pour moi.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm going to touch your fingers with this paper clip.
Bien. M'pral moyen doit être avec papier ça. Papier, paper clip.
Yeah.
Ouf. OK. Avec clip papier ça.
No, paper clip. Clips.
Clips.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Clips.
Clips. Mhm.
Oui, moi, doit être avec clips papier ça.
Doctor.
I want you to tell me if you can feel 2 points or more.
Or one.
Oh, or one.
I want you to tell me if you can feel 2 points or one.
Moi, vle pour dire, moi, est-ce qu'on capable de sentir deux points ou bien yon?
Okay. All right, let's stop there. Let's take our let's come back at 7:10. Okay, take a break.
Okay.
Got a 7-minute break. Come back at 7:10.
Okay. Thank you.
Wahen Nosamiefan Monsieur Faoul, li pa wahen ni. Nadia.
Okay. Come back in. Okay. So
When a language barrier exists, the presence of a professional interpreter is crucial. A professional interpreter facilitates unobstructed communication, and when this is done right, a good interpreter begins to become transparent as they act as a conduit for the conversation. In this video, you will see common mistakes of an untrained interpreter, followed by the proper technique of a professional interpreter.
Hello.
Hola.
Let him know that I'm glad he's here today.
Dice que está muy contento que está aquí hoy.
I just want to start out asking him some basic questions, so let him know that I'm going to do that.
Él dice que le va a hacer unas preguntas básicas.
Ask him who lives at his house.
Él quiere saber quién vive en su casa.
Pues vivo yo, mi esposa y mis 4 niños.
Said that it's himself, his wife, and his 4 children.
Okay, what are their ages?
¿Y cuántos años tienen sus hijos? Él quiere saber.
Uno tiene 13 años, 10, 5 y 2.
He said that his children are 13, 10, 5, and 2.
Thank you for being here today.
Gracias por venir hoy.
I really appreciate you coming out.
Y aprecio que está aquí hoy.
I just want to start by asking you just some basic questions.
Le quiero hacer unas preguntas básicas.
Who all lives at your house?
¿Quiénes son los que viven en su casa?
Vivo yo, mi esposa y mis 4 niños.
It's myself, my wife, and my 4 children.
Okay, what are their ages, your children?
¿Y sus hijos cuántos años tienen?
Uno tiene 13 años, 10, 5 y 2 años.
One's 13, 10, 5, and 2 years.
Okay.
Studying.
Whenever possible, an interpreter should sit to the side and slightly behind the target language speaker. As you saw in the video, this emphasizes the message, not the interpreter. It reduces distraction and allows the parties to engage each other, not the interpreter.
Mr. Sanchez, do you know why you're here today?
Señor Sánchez, él quiere saber si usted sabe por qué está aquí hoy.
Yo no tengo la menor idea por qué usted está aquí.
He said he has no idea why you're here.
Well, I received a report with some concerns about your son Luis.
Él dice que recibió un reporte que se trata de unas preocupaciones de su hijo Luis.
¿Qué tipo de preocupaciones?
He wants to know what kind of concerns.
Okay. Well, the report says that Luis has an injury to his eye, and I'm concerned about that.
Él dice que según el reporte, Luis tiene unas lesiones al ojo y está preocupado.
¿Que Luis está preocupado por su ojo?
No, él dice que él está preocupado por lo que encontró con Luis.
¿Y qué tipo de preocupación tiene él?
He wants to know what kind of concerns you have.
Mr. Sanchez, do you know why you're here today?
Señor Sánchez, ¿sabe por qué estamos aquí hoy?
No tengo la menor idea por qué.
No, I have no idea why.
Okay. Well, I received a report that has some concerns about your son, Luis.
Recibí un reporte que se trata de unas preocupaciones de su hijo Luis.
¿Qué tipo de preocupaciones?
What type of concerns?
Well, there's concerns about something that happened to his eye.
Unas preocupaciones de algo que sucedió con el ojo de Luis.
¿Y qué pasó? ¿Cuál es su preocupación?
Well, what happened? What's your concern?
A trained interpreter should always interpret in first person. This is the standard of professional interpreting. It allows the interpreter to become transparent, allows for a more accurate message to be conveyed, and reduces third-person confusion.
Okay. How did Luis end up with a black eye?
¿Y cómo llegó a tener un ojo negro, moretón en el ojo?
Pues él se golpeó con... no, él estuvo en una pelea.
He was in a fight.
He was in a fight? Okay, can you tell me about this fight?
¿Me puede contar un poco de este pleito?
Pues él estaba en el camión de la escuela camino a casa y hubo 2 muchachos que comenzaron a molestarlo y le trataron de quitar su dinero o le quitaron su dinero y le pegaron y le marcaron un ojo.
There were some boys on the bus that hit him in the eye.
Okay. What else happened?
¿Y qué más pasó?
Pues cuando él llegó a la casa y me dijo, yo le dije a él que él tenía que aprender a defenderse, que él era muy blandito, tenía que ser más valiente y pelear.
I told him to stick up for himself.
Okay. So, what happened to Luis's eye?
Entonces, ¿qué pasó con el ojo de Luis?
Pues él se golpeó con... no, él venía en el camión de la escuela y había unos muchachos que lo estaban molestando y lo golpearon en el ojo y le quitaron el dinero.
Well, he ran into no, actually, he was on the school bus and some young men were bothering him and they hit him in the eye and took his money.
Okay. So this happened on the school bus?
Entonces, ¿esto pasó en el bus escolar?
Sí, fue en el camión de la escuela.
Well,
Yes, it was in the school bus.
Okay, so if it happened on the school bus, we can get the video camera from the school bus and see what happened.
Entonces, si sucedió en el bus escolar, podemos ver el video que siempre toma el bus escolar para ver si realmente pasó.
Bueno, tal vez no sea necesario porque pensándolo mejor, yo creo que eso pasó más tarde.
Well, maybe it's not the best idea. Not thinking about it, it might have happened later on.
Interpreters should never add, omit, or substitute any part of the message, even if it seems redundant, irrelevant, or rude. When an interpreter adds or omits, it generally takes away from the message, eliminates useful information, and can change the intent of the message.
Okay, just wait 1 second. I need to look through some papers real quick.
Espera un momento, tengo que ver mis notas aquí.
¿Y dónde aprendió usted a hablar español?
En Honduras.
¿Honduras?
Sí.
Mi esposa es de Honduras.
¿Ah, sí? ¿De cuál parte?
De La Ceiba.
De veras.
Sí.
Yo soy de La Ceiba también. Bueno, desde niña vivía allá.
Oh, qué bien.
Sí.
What were you guys saying?
Oh, we're actually from the same place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have a few more questions for you, Mr. Sanchez.
Tengo unas preguntas más para preguntarle, señor Sánchez.
Hold on 1 second. I need to look through my notes.
Espera un momento, tengo que revisar mis notas.
¿Y dónde aprendió usted español?
En Honduras.
En Honduras. Mi esposa es de Honduras.
¿Ah, sí? ¿De cuál parte?
De La Ceiba.
He's actually asking me where I learned Spanish. I let him know Honduras, and his wife is from the same place where I grew up.
Okay. Well, Mr. Sanchez, I have a few more questions for you.
Señor Sánchez, tengo unas preguntas para hacerle.
Side conversations should be rare and should never exclude the other party. Ensuring that everything is interpreted reduces suspicion and confusion. Further, interpreting everything ensures that professional role boundaries are maintained.
All right, so we're going to look at now what we call clarifying. Okay. Because if something is said which you either didn't hear or you didn't understand, actually before we go into that, tell me some things you saw in the other what we just watched now. Tell me some things some things you noticed, what you learned.
I noticed that the interpreter was at first like a third person in a three people conversation. Afterwards, the interpreter has chosen the right place.
Okay, so let me rephrase that question. What principles were just taught in this last video?
One principle is that the interpreter must not have a side conversation with the other people.
Okay,
The other person.
No side conversation. What else?
No side conversation. No. The interpreter must not add something or reduce something from the conversation.
We're not supposed to omit or substitute, or we're not supposed to add or remove or substitute.
Okay. All right. Matan, what else?
From what the patient is saying.
Nobody should be excluded to any conversation.
Okay. Still, Matan, what else?
And I think that somebody already said it. It's like you should not be interpret as a third person. So you just say it like the person is talking, like using I or me or whatever it is. And so somebody whatever I saw, and you should be sitting on the side of the person so the focus can be on, the conversation should be going, the way it's supposed to be going.
Okay. And this, interpreting has changed a lot since COVID. Prior to COVID, almost 90% of interpreting was just what you saw now, sitting in the room. Now, maybe 10%. These days, you're either on the telephone or you are on video. Okay, so that thing of sitting behind the patient, it's good to know what should be done, but interpreting has changed a lot since COVID. Okay, now, so we're gonna look at this one now, and I want you to have pen and paper. I mean, take notes of the things that are being taught. Okay, the principles that are being taught. Okay.
Okay.
So what do you think Luis would say happened to his eye?
Entonces, ¿qué piensa que diría Luis que pasó con el ojo de él?
Pues yo me imagino que él le dirá que unos chamacos lo golpearon.
Well, I figure that he'd tell you that some young man hit him in the eye.
Well, I've actually talked to Luis at his school, and he said that you came home drunk on Sunday and you hit him.
Bueno, hablé con Luis en la escuela y él dijo que usted había llegado emborrachado el domingo a la noche y que le había pegado.
Eso es imposible porque yo estuve trabajando el domingo en O'Charlie.
¿Dónde trabaja?
O'Charlie's.
¿Y qué es O'Charlie's?
Es el restaurante donde yo trabajo.
Oh, that's impossible. I was at work at O'Charlie's that night.
Okay, what else was he saying?
Oh, he just said, I didn't understand what he was saying when he said O'Charlie's, so I was just asking him about that.
Okay. What do you think Luis would say happened to his eye?
¿Qué piensa que dirá Luis que pasó con el ojo de él?
Pues yo me imagino que le dirá que unos chamacos lo golpearon.
I would imagine that he would tell you that some young man hit him.
Well, I've actually talked to Luis at his school, and he said that you came home drunk Sunday and hit him.
Bueno, hablé con Luis en la escuela de él y él me había comentado que usted llegó emborrachado el domingo por la noche y que le había pegado.
Eso es imposible porque yo el domingo yo estuve trabajando en O'Charlie.
As an interpreter, I need to clarify a word used.
Okay.
¿Dónde trabaja, señor?
Okay. What did you just learn?
I learned that when you don't understand something, you must ask for the meaning of the word you didn't understand.
Okay, that's true, but okay. All right. Gio, what did you just learn?
I mean, it's pretty much what the doctor is saying, what the doctor is saying, what the patient is saying. You are not supposed to interpret what they are saying, but you must interpret what they are actually saying.
Okay. Martin, what did you just learn?
I learned that she wasn't too sure of what he meant.
Sure.
So trying to clarify, I'm asking him to clarify, I think.
But remember, this is about the right and the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, well, let me put it back a bit.
Please.
Okay, so let's start.
What was he saying?
Oh, he just said, I didn't understand what he said.
O'Charlie's.
¿Y qué es O'Charlie's?
Es el restaurante donde yo trabajo.
That's impossible. I was at work at O'Charlie's that night.
Okay, what else was he saying?
Oh, he just said, I didn't understand what he was saying when he said O'Charlie's, so I was just asking him about that.
What is the difference between this that you just heard now? And let's continue.
Okay.
Hold on.
What do you think Luis would say happened to his eye?
¿Qué piensa que dirá Luis que pasó con el ojo de él?
Pues yo me imagino que le dirá que unos chamacos lo golpearon.
I would imagine that he would tell you that some young man hit him.
Well, I've actually talked to Luis at his school, and he said that you came home drunk Sunday and hit him.
Bueno, hablé con Luis en la escuela de él y él me había comentado que usted llegó emborrachado el domingo por la noche y que le había pegado.
Eso es imposible porque yo el domingo yo estuve trabajando en Charlie.
As an interpreter, I need to clarify a word used.
Okay.
¿Dónde trabaja, señor?
What does she do now that she didn't do before?
So it seems like she's trying to cover up something.
Okay, enough. What does she do now that she didn't do before?
Oh,
Before, she did
Go ahead,
not.
Matan, go ahead.
Before she was like going back and forth, like translate what the person was saying, and vice versa. And now she just asked him to yeah, I mean she didn't interpret what he was saying to the other guy. She didn't answer. I mean, he answered, but she didn't translate or interpret what he was saying.
Okay, Enoch, what do you think?
I think that she looked like someone who was trying to voluntarily hide something.
Okay,
Because
Gio, what do you think? That's fine. Gio, what do you think?
When the doctor asked the interpreter what the patient was saying, he said that the patient did not understand what he said, but she did not know what he was saying.
Okay, so the difference between the right way and the wrong way to ask for clarification, notice this. In this second scenario, before she asked the patient, she turned to the social worker to say, interpreter would like to ask for clarification.
Okay.
Okay. So this is highlighting the proper way to ask for clarification. If somebody says something that you don't understand, you don't just ask them, what did you say? You have to turn to the other person because the other person is expecting you to interpret. So you don't just go back to the patient. You have to go back to the other person and say, interpreter would like to ask about the meaning of something they said. Do you understand?
Yes.
Say again, please.
Before you clap, if someone says something, okay, let's do a role play. Okay, Matan, say anything you want in Creole.
Pour que sa ti garçon gen problème kon sa la kay.
Okay, so this is now, if I don't understand what you just said now, and I want to ask for clarification, I could either do it in two ways. I could say, oh, on pa kompon so di la, no, ki sa di de ti garçon? Or I could turn to Dr. Enoch and say, interpreter didn't quite understand what the patient said, so I'm going to ask to clarify. And I'll say, Madame Barthélemy, qui sa ou te dit ti garçon? In the first place, I just turned to Madame Barthélemy and I said, in the second way, I went to Dr. Enoch to say, interpreter would like to ask for clarification. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. In the proper
So that the doctor be aware that there was something no clear for you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or Charlie's.
That's impossible because I was at work on Sunday night at O'Charlie's.
Okay.
Interpreting sessions will not always go smoothly. You may encounter difficult accents, unknown regional slang, or individuals who mumble or speak quickly. Never engage in a clarifying conversation that excludes the other party. Appropriate clarifying will create less disruption and provide for a better flow during the session. It will also prevent the exclusion of one party from the conversation.
Honey, I've got it. Okay. Pendant pressed. Apartment 2.
Well, if you didn't hit Luis, why would he tell me that you did?
Entonces, si usted no le pegó a Luis, ¿por qué dijo él que se lo pegó?
Mira, Luis se pasa mintiendo siempre, todo el tiempo, diciendo mentiras. Yo creo que se debe a que cuando él era pequeño y cuando él nació, él tuvo problemas de respiración y no respiraba bien, y yo creo que eso le causó problemas en el cerebro. Él siempre se pasa mintiendo y lo hemos agarrado varias veces mintiendo en muchas cosas. Y le puedes preguntar a los hermanos de él, siempre mintiendo. Lo hemos agarrado muchas veces.
Luis likes to lie a lot.
Is that all he just said?
I mean, pretty much.
May I?
So if you didn't hit Luis, why would he say that you did?
Entonces, si usted no le pegó a Luis,
Okay.
May I say something?
Yes.
I noticed something that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to interpret so many sentences, how can someone expect that you don't miss something?
Okay. So that is the actual point of this scenario. The interpreter allowed the patient to keep speaking.
Yeah. She should take some note.
Okay, hold on. And so let's back it up a bit. So this is called managing the session. Okay. Managing the session. So let's back it up a bit. And
Is that all he just said?
okay.
I mean, pretty much.
Y yo creo que eso le causó problemas en el cerebro. Él siempre se pasa mintiendo y lo hemos agarrado varias veces mintiendo en muchas cosas. Y le puedes preguntar a los hermanos de él, siempre mintiendo. Lo hemos agarrado muchas veces.
Luis likes to lie a lot.
Is that all he just said?
Okay. She said, whoever the boy, he likes to lie a lot. But that does not, obviously, that was not all the gentleman said. Why do you think that happened?
Because
Go ahead.
I think yeah, she's trying to up or something. I don't know.
Okay. No, she allowed the patient to keep speaking longer than she could remember.
Okay.
So,
but so to render, is it okay to, like, for instance, she rendered as, okay, he's lying. So it's not okay to do that?
Remember we said earlier, don't omit anything. So is it okay for her to do what she just did now? Is it?
It doesn't look right. Not at all. It seems
no, because we already said that you don't omit.
Okay.
You have to interpret everything. So summarization is not allowed.
My next question to you, doctor, is it okay to stop the person in the middle of the
Well, let's see.
Él siempre mintiendo. Lo hemos agarrado muchas veces.
Luis likes to lie a lot.
Is that all he just said?
I mean, pretty much.
So if you didn't hit Luis, why would he say that you did?
Entonces, si usted no le pegó a Luis, ¿por qué dijo él de que sí le
I
pegó?
can see the video. I'm having to
Bueno,
mention.
Luis se pasa mintiendo todo el tiempo. Él miente, miente y miente. Yo creo que se debe a que cuando él era chico...
What did you say? What did you say, Enoch?
I didn't say anything. Giro said something.
G, what did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I didn't see the video.
Are we all seeing the video?
I'm having connection problems. I couldn't see the video.
Okay, but the rest of us, are we seeing the video?
I was
Am I showing my screen?
Yeah, yes. I can see everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like he's having problem connection with the connection.
Yeah, I think your connection problem, Gio.
Yeah.
Cuando nació,
Well, the thing about it is that Luis likes to lie a lot. He lies and lies. I think it has something to do with when he was born.
cuando nació, él tuvo problemas de respiración. Yo creo que eso le hizo daño en el cerebro.
He had some breathing problems, and I think that damaged his brain.
Y él siempre se pasa mintiendo. Nosotros lo hemos agarrado varias veces mintiendo. Y si quiere, le puede preguntar a los hermanos.
And I think that's why he lies a lot. We've actually caught him in quite a few lies. You could even ask his brothers about that.
Él siempre está mintiendo.
He's always lying.
Well, here's the thing. I actually did talk to his brothers yesterday.
So what did she do now? Each time he paused, she cut in.
Hmm.
Okay, she didn't allow him to speak and speak and speak and speak. Okay, the other thing you could do is actually stop and say, "Could you stop?" Okay, you can actually do that because it's you who's to manage the flow of conversation.
Yes.
Okay, so two things you could do. I mean, either when they pause, you speak, or you actually stop them.
Okay.
You actually stop them and say, could you pause? Could you pause so I can interpret that? Okay, and as a matter of fact, during what we call the introduction, we'll talk about that. You can actually tell the patient that it's part of the instructions you can give before the session starts, to tell the patient to pause, or the patient and the provider to pause frequently so you can interpret. Okay.
Yesterday, and they told me the same thing that he said.
Bueno, sí, hablé con los hermanos de él y ellos me comentaron lo mismo de lo que él había dicho.
Most people realize that an interpreter needs pauses in conversation to interpret. Unfortunately, some people will continue to talk without giving time to interpret the message. In such cases, an interpreter should feel free to interject in the conversation to ask the individual to pause and allow room for interpretation. This management of the session will create greater flow and reduce the need to summarize parts of the message.
Okay, so
Okay, I actually talked to all.
now write this down: tone, style, and register. Write that down: tone, style, and register. So let me back it up so you can see.
Tone, style, register.
Tone, tone, register, style, tone, style, register. Okay, that's what we're going to be looking at now. All right. So what do these mean, and what's the significance?
All right.
Tone is the
No. Let's.
Okay.
Okay, I actually talked to all of your children, and they all told me the same story, that you hit Luis.
Bueno, hablé con todos sus hijos y ellos me contaron el mismo cuento de que usted sí le pegó a Luis.
Oh, sí. Y yo le pegué a un niño de 5 años.
Yes, I hit a 5-year-old.
So you admit that you hit him?
Entonces está confesando que sí lo pegó.
No, yo no le pegué a él.
No, I didn't hit him.
Then why did you just say you hit him?
¿Y por qué dijo que le pegó?
Estoy siendo sarcástico. ¿Cómo tú te atreves a ir a hablar con mis niños sin yo estar presente? Pedazo de basura.
I was being sarcastic. Why did you talk to my kids without me there?
Well, I'm allowed to talk to your children at school. That's part of the law.
Yo tengo el derecho de hablar con sus hijos en la escuela, es parte de las leyes.
But listen, well, here's what we need to get down to. You need to start telling the truth right now. No more lies.
Usted necesita decir la verdad, señor.
I've actually talked to all of your children at school, and they all told me the same story that you hit Luis.
Bueno, en la actualidad hablé con todos sus hijos en la escuela y ellos me contaron el mismo cuento de que usted le había pegado a Luis.
Entonces, ¿yo le pegué a un niño de 5 años?
So I hit a 5-year-old.
I don't know, you tell me.
Yo no sé, usted me necesita decir.
Mira, ¿cómo tú te pones a hablar con mis niños sin yo estar presente? Pedazo de basura.
How in the world do you think you could go and talk to my kids without me being present, you piece of...
What do you notice?
I noticed that the father was getting somewhat angry.
Remember, when we're focusing on the patient, not on the interpreter, not the father. What difference do you notice between? So they are giving.
There is a tone change. The conversation changed tone.
Okay, then what happened?
She was being sarcastic.
Yes. So the patient wasn't sarcastic. Then what? But let's focus on the interpreter. What is the difference between the first scenario and the second scenario? In the first scenario, did the interpreter demonstrate that sarcastic tone in her rendition?
No.
Okay.
But the interpreter did.
So in the first scenario, so the father was being sarcastic. The interpreter just said, "Yes, I hit my son."
Mm-hmm.
And so the social worker said, "You hit your son." But in the second scenario, the interpreter, rendered that sarcastic tone,
Mm-hmm.
so that the provider could get that the father was being sarcastic. Okay?
Trash.
Okay, listen. You need to start telling the truth right now, and you need to stop all the lies.
Ahora, escucha, señor. Usted necesita decir la verdad ahorita sin mentir.
Ok. Yo le pegué. Yo estaba borracho. En realidad yo no me acuerdo de nada.
Okay, I hit him, but I was drunk and I really don't remember a lot of it.
Words are only part of what is being said. Professional interpreters replicate the register, style, and tone of the speaker. This will prevent confusion, ensure an accurate and clear message, and instill confidence in both parties that what they are saying is truly being conveyed. These 7 tips demonstrate some of the core differences between a trained and untrained interpreter.
Welcome to Quick Tips for...
All right, so so you will have this recording, and what you need to do is go through all of them again. Note all of the points.
You will send it to us?
It will be on the class site.
Okay.
All right.
Well, okay.
Yeah, to be on the class site. This whole lesson will be on the class site, and you can just either go through it all or just fast forward to these sections and look at it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's look at this one.
Consecutive interpreting. In this video, we're going to be talking about clarification. Welcome to Quick Tips for Consecutive Interpreting. In this video, we're going to be talking about clarification. And this will be the first in a series of videos dealing with tips for consecutive interpreting. In some of our previous videos, which you may have seen, we typically have the tips followed by examples in Spanish. However, in these videos, they'll be a lot quicker and we'll just give the instruction. If you're interested in seeing some of our other videos, you can go to the search bar on YouTube and you can look up Interpreter Training, parentheses Part 1, or Interpreter Training, parentheses Part 2. Now, a professional interpreter should be speaking in first person. That is, when someone says, I went to the store, you interpret, I went to the store, not, he said he went to the store. So it's, I went to the store, I went to the store. Why did you go to the store? Why did you go to the store? You're staying in first person. So that brings up the question, how do we clarify and differentiate ourselves when we're interpreting in first person? And the way that we do that is, if someone says, they mumble something and you didn't understand what they said, then you simply turn to the other party and say, as interpreter, I need to clarify something. And then you turn back to that party, what did you mean when you said, what was that word you used? And then they'll tell you, and then you drop right back down to your conduit transparent role, and you go right back into it. Oh, I said I went to the store. Okay, thank you. I went to the store. And then you're right back into your interpreting role. So it seems easy enough, but there are 3 big mistakes that I see interpreters make over and over when it comes to clarification. And so we're going to address these 3 mistakes very briefly. The first mistake that interpreters often make when clarifying is that they don't alert every party to the fact that clarification is taking place. Sometimes a word will be said or you don't understand what they said, and so instead of saying, as interpreter I need to clarify something, instead it's just like, what did you say? Oh, I said this. Oh wait, no, what's that mean? No, what's this? Well, this person doesn't know what's going on. They don't know the language. All they see is 2 people talking back and forth. That's very frustrating for the other party who's being excluded, because they're just sitting there wondering, what is going on? Why is he talking to him? He should be interpreting for me. That's why we always want to let them know, as interpreter, I need to clarify something. And then they're put at ease, you can do your clarification, and then go right back into interpreting. So always include everyone, no matter which side it's on. I need to clarify something. Let them know what's going on. Otherwise, they're going to become very frustrated and feel like their message isn't getting across because they don't know what you're saying and they keep seeing you talking to that other individual. The second mistake that interpreters often make is not returning to the transparent conduit role of an interpreter after they make a clarification. It's very common that I see interpreters that want to insert themselves in the session. They want to be a part of it. But that's not our job. That's not our role. When we're interpreting, we're not adding, omitting, or changing, substituting anything. All we're doing is giving the exact message back and forth. But what tends to happen is, as interpreter, I need to clarify something. And then you clarify something, and then that interpreter stays up in the session, giving their opinion, kind of helping someone formulate what they want to say to make it sound good or accurate. And we've got to, once we make that clarification, we've got to come right back down to that conduit role, disappear, and just pass the message back and forth. One of the biggest complaints that I get is when an interpreter gives their opinion or inserts themselves or is kind of involved in the session. Don't insert yourself in the session. If you have to clarify, do an appropriate clarification. As interpreter, I need to clarify, and you clarify. And when it's done, you come right back down to the conduit role. The third mistake that interpreters often make when clarifying is that they provide unnecessary clarification. The times when you need to clarify something are actually very small. Some people will clarify way too much. The only time you should clarify is when you don't understand a word or the message to interpret. If someone says, I went to the store yesterday and I rode around on a chicken. Well, you understand their words. You don't know what they're talking about, but you understand their words. That is not a time for clarification. As the interpreter, you stay in that transparent role and you say, the other day I went to the store and I rode around on a chicken. And then it's this person's responsibility, if they wonder about that, to ask, what do you mean you rode around on a chicken? And as in, what do you mean you rode around on a chicken? Well, I have this something, and they can explain what they mean by riding on a chicken, and maybe that's going to reveal a mental health issue, or maybe there's some explanation to it. But that is not a place where you clarify, because you understand the words. So you pass the words to this person, and you let them do what they want with it. They can say, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And then they can explain. The only times, again, that you should be clarifying are when you don't understand a word. If you don't understand, what they're talking about, or if it was confusing to you, that's not your time to clarify. Another example might be, let's say it's a social worker that says to a client, "I need you to go downtown and take a CPD." Well, you don't know what a CPD is, but you understood what they said. That's not time for you to clarify what the CPD is. You just say, "I need you to go downtown and take a CPD." And then the client, if they know what that is, great. If they don't know what it is, then they can say, "What is a CPD?" And then you interpret, "What is a CPD?" So you have to understand that most of the time, there's not a need for clarification. You just need to pass the message and let the client or let the other party work out their confusion with each other. The only time you clarify, again, is if you don't understand a word or you don't understand something that was mumbled or something like that. It's never that you're confused by what's being said. If you understand the words to interpret them, and let the two parties figure it out amongst themselves. In conclusion, be a proactive interpreter that uses appropriate clarification. Make sure that your clarification is clear to everyone. Always return to the transparent role immediately after clarifying, and do not insert yourself into the session unnecessarily. It's not uncommon for us to interpret for individuals who may curse or use offensive language. So how should we handle these clients who use coarse and foul language? If an interpreter has objections to using such language, are there ways around saying certain curse words? Well, the short answer, as you may have guessed, is no. We need to interpret everything as it is said and how it is said to the best of our ability. There are two principles of accuracy when it comes to interpreting that apply here. First, an interpreter should not add, substitute, or omit any part of the message. Second, an interpreter should replicate the same style, register, and tone of the speaker. Instead of working to avoid curse words, we should actually study various slang and offensive language so that we can make the best word choice when interpreting into the target language. I hope you've enjoyed this month's quick tip for consecutive interpreting. Let us know what you think about cursing in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for more interpreting tips and information.
All right. We will stop there for now. We'll stop here for now, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to look at interpreter roles, okay, amongst other things, and we're also going to look at how you introduce yourself before your interpreting session. Okay. All right. And then
same time?
Same time.
Sunday. Oof.
But if you can't make it, the class is gonna be recorded.
Okay. Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Recorded, so you should be okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. And then I will post these notes. Post these notes maybe tonight or actually tomorrow. So the notes will be in the class, the class the forum. Okay. All right. So we'll stop here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have.
Go ahead, Shiro.
Nah, I was saying that I was having them connection problems, so I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing in the classroom so I could catch up.
So you're kind of so I should ask for clarification because I didn't quite
Nah,
understand.
I'm gonna have to rewatch videos because I was having connection
Okay.
problems.
Sure, fine. Okay,
I missed a whole lot of it of the
Okay.
video, so I'm gonna have
Okay.
to.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
It will be posted. All right then.
Thank you, Dr. Imina.
Okay.
All right.
So, is it gonna be on tonight?
Sorry?
Are you gonna post it tonight or maybe tomorrow? Are we gonna?
I have a
Are you
meeting
gonna post the
right
video
after this.
tonight or
I'll
tomorrow?
post it sometime tomorrow. I'll post it sometime tomorrow.
Okay.
And you'll be sending the link for me?
Yes, I'll send you a link. I'll post it before class tomorrow.
All right.
And I'll send the link. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. And Mary, I will also send you the link.
No problem.
All right. Have a great night.
Good night.